For today's lesson, we are going to work on a couple of things, and that will be to add our illustration to our sentences, and then we will edit our work. Of course, if you want to spend another day adding more detail to your sentence, maybe writing another, you are more than welcome to do that as well. Some of our writing can take 4 to 5 days on a certain piece of writing, but for these recordings, I'm limiting them to 1 week. So now will be the time that we will add our illustration. Again, we'll remind our students that our illustration needs to match our sentence. If we're writing about a yellow sun, then of course they're not going to draw a red car or some fruit. Their illustration will match their sentence just like authors and illustrators do when they read books as well. So have your students get their crayons, their colored pencils, their markers, whatever they'd like to use, and then they can begin on their drawing. I'll do some very quick drawings for you and show you some more ways that we can add some writing into our illustration. So maybe they will draw their big yellow sun. And of course, encourage your student to take their time and do their best work. Maybe they'll add some clouds up in the sky. Maybe some grass at the bottom. And then maybe some birds flying up there too. I call these M birds. Just a really easy way to draw some birds quickly. So throw in a couple of M birds there. Now we can also incorporate writing when we're drawing our picture, and we can say, well, hey, let's go ahead and label our pictures. This is a picture of the sun, so let's go ahead and label it. And what we do when we label is we simply put what it is right above the picture or next to the picture. So say, let's label the word sun. Let's spell sun again. Maybe they'll put their S and their N, and that is just fine. Now I see that you drew some clouds. Let's write the word clouds and let's label our clouds. What do you hear at the beginning of the word clouds? Cool. What do you hear next? They'll put their L. Maybe they'll put an O. Maybe they'll put a U. Either one, it's okay. We want to encourage them and build our students' self-esteem. Clouds. Clouds. And then what do you hear at the end? Clouds. And that's perfect. Yes, it's not spelled correctly, but they wrote what they heard, and that's what we are asking for. And then I see you drew some birds. Let's label our birds. Hopefully they'll put their B. Brr. What sound do you hear next when we say brr? I hear that R, do you? Bird. Put their D. And there we've got our bird labeled as well. You can move down to grass, and you can sound out that word as well, and they can label that as well. So this is another way that you can incorporate writing when your student is doing their drawing. Now it's time for us to edit our work, and I wanted to show you what that looks like as well. I would go ahead and grab the writer's checklist. Remember, this was found on our kindergarten website. And you'll start at the top, and you'll look through all of these things to make sure your student has done them. So we see that I can use capital letters to start my sentence and for important words. So have your student go back to their writing. As you can see, when we wrote this, that they did not have a capital letter. Maybe your student didn't put that capital letter at the beginning. Maybe they did. But if they didn't, say, all right, well, we know that our sentences need to start with a capital letter, so let's fix it. They can go back and they can erase what they've done, or they can simply turn this lowercase I into that capital letter. Let's go to our next sentence. Our next sentence was it. Let's make sure that starts with a capital letter. Maybe they started it with it, maybe they didn't. If they did not, again, encourage them to go back and let's fix it. They can erase it, or they can simply turn that lowercase I into a capital I. Now let's go back to our writer's checklist. Now we want to make sure that our words are neatly written and that they are on the lines. And as you can see, our words are written neatly and they're on the line, so we're good with that. I can write my words neatly. We did that. Let's move down to I can put spaces between my words. Well, we had our handy Mr. Spaceman, and when we use Mr. Spaceman, that helps us assure that our finger spaces are there. But again, let's just take our piece of paper and make sure that we have those finger spaces. Have your student put their little fingers between the words. Let's make sure that we've got those finger spaces. There's our finger space. There's our finger space. We've got another. Let's go down to our next sentence. Yes, we've got a space. And we've got another space. So we did a really great job with including our finger spaces. Along with making sure that your letters are written neatly and on the line, ask your student, let's make sure that every letter is the correct direction. Let's look through this and say, oh, look at this S right here. Is that the way an S looks? And then you can refer back to your alphabet chart. They can see, oh no, I wrote my S backwards. Have them erase that S. And they can fix it. And there we go. And then let's get our checklist again. And at the bottom of our checklist, you can see it says, I can put punctuation at the end of my sentences. So let's make sure, and we go back to our writing, and we say, uh-oh, we forgot all of our punctuation. So let's read that through our sentence. Remember, when our voice drops, that is a great reminder that that will be the end of our sentence. And we'll just work on periods for this one. I see the sun. Well, my voice dropped after I said the word sun, so I need to put my period. Then let's go to our next sentence. Have your student read it. It is yellow. My voice dropped again after I said the word yellow. So let's make sure that we have our period at the end. After you've spent some time editing your work, encourage your student to read what they wrote. Our sentences are no good if your student can't go back and read what they actually wrote. So keep encouraging that every time you write a sentence to read it back. Have your student read that sentence back to you. Make sure that they actually know what they have written. And you can be so proud of your student and say, hey, you just wrote some sentences. Can you now be a really great reader and read them back to me? Have your student point to every word as they read it. That's still practicing our one-to-one correspondence. I see the sun. It is yellow. Of course, praise your student and let them know what a wonderful job they did with their writing. I love to hang my kids' writing up on the fridge or in their room so that they can see it and be proud of it and know that we are proud of them as well. I hope you enjoyed working on our sentences this week, and we will come back together and finish writing some more. Happy writing!